Hi, this is Edip Yuksel. It is 24th of March 2025. This is incredible. I have been walking around here. I made just a Turkish video on the same subject that I'll be talking now. Here, walking about, I don't know, maybe about 500 meters. This hallway, this is Sheraton Hotel next to Milan's airport. Incredible, I never seen such a long corridors. This is all, I'm walking and talking at the same time. We are here together, me and my two sons and co-founders. First, I will tell you why we are in Italy, and then I will talk about Turkey, what's happening in Turkey, and I will inform you what is going on. First, me and my two sons, we are also co-founders of Beltways. You can check beltways.com. We are working on a new technology, which is my invention. I got patents about 8-9 years ago, starting getting patents. Still, we continue on the subject. And several patents later, my children also joined me in inventing, in improving, innovation. And right now we have a startup. We started at San Francisco in 2020, and my two sons gave up their jobs. Mateen was at Apple, he was managing a department, $500 million. He was managing huge. He was just a young graduate from Princeton University. Worked 3 years, 1 year in Walmart, 2 years in Apple, and the other son, international lawyer. He was in Silicon Valley. He had also studied LLM after JD from University of Arizona. He also studied in Tsinghua University. Both of them impressive workers, great work ethics, and also they were my students. Not only my sons, my co-workers, they also for 10 years at middle and high school, they were my students. While I was teaching part-time at college, philosophy and logic, also I decided to be close to them. I applied for teaching mathematics, algebra, and later physics, and even English, creative writing, composition, and then computer sciences. So many different classes, including philosophy, logic in high school, and constitutional law, and invention convention, science olympiad I coached, and also for math competitions, a Turkish class, all classes except Chinese and Spanish. Anyway, now we are here. Well, why I'm telling you this? I was going to talk about Turkey. Well, let me make it very brief. We are here for, we were invited to be keynote speakers in an international conference by Stra to Africa. I forgot the name of it. It's very unique name. An organization in Turin, Strove to Africa, something like that. It was a beautiful conference. And then first Rome, we met the airport executives regarding Beltways. They were very interested. After that, we moved to Turin, 3 days there. Oh my gosh, I visited National Museum of Automobile, incredible. Wow. And then Milan, today we came to Milan. It is, wow, it is a beautiful city with beautiful architecture, bazaars, and all the churches, buildings and stuff. Anyway, this is the airport. We are ready to go to Cincinnati. Now, what's happening in Turkey after 5 minutes? Erdogan was my friend from high school. and from neighborhood Fatih Istanbul, and also from youth organization under the Milli Selamet Partisi Necmettin Erbakan, and I was the leader of Akıncılar, the biggest youth organization in Turkey, 1 million members. And Erdogan was below me that time in hierarchy. But later I parted my ways in 1986 at age 29. I rejected the religion of my parents, Sunnism, and I became just a peacemaker, a Muslim, and a rational monotheist after discovering the mathematical code of the Quran. Anyway, this is so long. Look at this. First time the airport is just there. We'll be tomorrow walking. The terminal one is just there nearby. We got very lucky. Now, Erdogan, when first came to power, I supported him initially because he was talking change, democratization, freedom, justice, and joining European Union, and yeah, Turkey was an oppressive regime, was there under the control of military, and I was in prison for 4 years in Turkish prison. Therefore, unfortunately, no freedom. But initially, I supported him. Many of my friends from youth organization, more than 20 of them know him personally. They were in Congress when I visited in early 2000. When I used to visit Turkey, I would meet them. There was kind of a lot of hopes that Turkey will change to better. But after 2007, I see a major change in this guy. He showed his true colors, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. While in youth organization, I didn't like him that time. Me and my brother, Edip Yuksel, is a legendary. He was a legendary youth leader. He was killed at age 21. If you write his name, Edip Yuksel. Anyway, we never liked him because he was always involved collecting money from merchants for the party, for the youth organization. All he was doing that. He was not a risk taker like us. He was not. He obviously he was in it for personal gain, not like us. We put our life at risk. I end up in prison for years. My brother ended up getting killed by nationalists. But anyway, and but later he changed, and my close friends, which they were Islamists, but they were honest, they were decent people. Though religious-wise, I parted my ways, but still they had good qualities. The early years in Congress, and they were all, how do you say, they were all eliminated from the party. They were basically, Erdogan was making the list of the candidates, and he basically got rid of them. And then the people later, the generation that joined his party, AKP, they were more for money, for positions, and he started having a lot of corrupt people surrounding him. He was getting commission from any government contracts. He and his children, his family, started making millions and millions of dollars. Now he's a billionaire. Erdogan, he started with a person was even below middle class. I know him and his family. In fact, initially, he was bragging about how he is poor. He used to say, I have only one ring. Now he is one of the richest person in Turkey, even in the world. And he was waving Hazreti Omar's patchy clothes. He was a leader, but his clothes, his shirt was patched, had patches. And he had two candles. One candle was the government's candle he would use when he was working for the government, for the people. But other, when he would do his personal work, he would he would use his own candle. He was so, but he's the biggest corrupt thief in chief right now in Turkey. You can know it. He's a big liar. He lies all the time. He gave so much hope to people of Gaza or Palestinian, all lies. He always continued his strong relation with Israel, trades. Turkey's trade never stopped with Israel even during genocide. Turkey and Azerbaijan together, they continued transferring gas, oil, and steel for Israel. So many, the list of his lies, deception is incredible. He's one of the biggest hypocrites. Anyway, but of course, from far you think, oh, he's a great guy because he says God. He waves holy book. He talks about God. No, he's a thief. Look at his people. Majority of people right now starving in Turkey. They cannot even afford decent food. Poor people right now, most of the people. Look at the wage, people, how much they are earning. Look at the inflation. Incredible poverty in Turkey. But he has the world's biggest mansion. 1,150 rooms. He built with these poor people's money. And each room, the most expensive rugs, all Persian rugs, the furniture, everything, the electricity. Imagine how many thousands of lamps there. It's just incredible. His menu, the most expensive menu, sometimes imported from other countries. And he has 7 private jets. When he goes from one point to another point, he mobilizes 1,000 police officers, long caravan kind of cars. All this guy who is talking about Hazreti Omar had patchy shirt. By waving flag and holy book, he hypnotized people. Majority of people are corrupt also, poor but immoral. Majority of people in everywhere in the world, especially when religion has high utility, people are more religious, they become more immoral, unfortunately. Very immoral. Cowards. They worship power. They are thieves themselves, but very petty, small, hungry thieves. And therefore, they justify what he does. And he sometimes gives them some crumbs to his followers. Therefore, for just little crumbs, they praise him. And he's a dictator. He has filed lawsuits by using people's money and lawyers. Again, is hundreds of thousands, I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of thousands of citizens for insulting him, His Highness. In fact, he had, last time I looked at, but a year or so ago, maybe more than a year ago, 2 years ago, there were 23 lawsuits against me by Erdogan. All of them next to his name, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, colon, Mağdur, means victim, victim, victim. And now perhaps it is more than 30 cases against me. Some of them ended with several months of prison. Each of them, if I get 3-5 months prison, it will be how many? Oh my gosh. Wow, it is 150 months prison it will be. It will be about more than 10 years prison. Therefore, I'm not going to Turkey since about 8 years. Last 5 visitation to Turkey, 4 times I was arrested in the airport. I spent 1 day or 3 days in police station waiting for the court. And therefore now if I go there, they will not leave me. They will put me in prison, they will torture me because things changed to the worst. Anyway, now what happened, the main opposition party, CHP, in Turkey, has been secular party, and also Alevites in that party, more heavily Alevites vote for that party. And they are kind of like not very religious people. And kind of is considered as a leftist party. No, they are capitalists like AKP, unfortunately. Like Democrat Party in the United States and Republican Party, not much different. Democrat Party is not really a left party, though in social issues, yeah, there are very differences, but in economy, not much. But of course, Trump is different. Anyway, now Ekrem İmamoğlu, a person is very close to Erdogan, though less religious, but he uses also religion and nationalism. He waves flags and holy books like Erdogan too. He is a sophist. He's another politician, means hypocrite. Most of the politicians are hypocrite. The worst people become politicians in general. Of course, there are exceptions, very good people, but in every country, usually the worst people who are able to put mask, to use the power of the language to manipulate people, they get into power. Anyway, CHP also was very inefficient opposition party, unfortunately. So many scandals, so many problem was created by AKP, Tayyip Erdogan in Turkey. A normal, decent opposition should have been able to change, should get into power. But unfortunately, this party had been coward, very scared of Erdogan, how Erdogan will call them, especially about the Kurdish issue, because without Kurdish support, the main opposition party doesn't have chance to get enough votes or enough public support to unseat Erdogan. They need it, but at the same time, this party, in this party, there are a lot of racists against Kurdish people, paranoid racists who cannot even accept the existence of the Kurdish people, cannot accept Kurdish culture, even recognize Kurdish language, that they have a language. They call Kurdish language unknown language. There are a lot of racists in CHP, the opposition party. But they need, now there is their candidate for next election against Erdogan. It appears to be Ekrem İmamoğlu, which is a person very close to Erdogan in terms of character-wise. But I think Erdogan must go. Whichever comes, another thief, that's fine. We are tired of Erdogan. Many Turkish people are tired of him. 23 years, enough. And they are master, they are expert in corruption and eating. At least the new one, though he has similar character, it will take him 10 years to become as efficient thief as Erdogan and his friends. And this will give some Turkish people some break and maybe some hope. Maybe in Meanwhile, there could be some change towards embedment of the politics. Therefore, there must be change. Though I dislike this guy, the candidate of the opposition party, Ekrem İmamoğlu, now he is arrested today, or yesterday, he was arrested on frivolous charges, absolutely lies, like Erdogan imprisoned the Kurdish political leader, the most talented and the most efficient opposition, minority opposition against Erdogan, Selahattin Demirtas, and he couldn't handle him. He was very good in his opposition. He was better than the major opposition party. He was doing much better. Therefore, Erdogan was scared of him. He couldn't never debated against him. Erdogan in 23 years, not a single debate with the opposition parties, with the leaders of the, not a single debate, because he's coward. He knows that his lies will be exposed in cross-examination, in impromptu talk. But when he talks solo monologues, he's able to manipulate, he's able to misrepresent others' views, even misquote and lie and get away with it. And he controls media. Anyway, Selahattin Demirtas, the Kurdish leader, has been in prison for 7 years, and many Kurdish politicians, after they were elected as mayors in towns with the majority of Kurdish population, almost all of them, just after they were elected, they were charged to be terrorists. Interesting. They were elected, they didn't have any negative background, but after they were elected, Erdogan declared all of them being terrorists and put them behind bars and appointed his own people as mayor. Therefore, there is no democracy in Turkey. Absolutely a big lie. Is entirely sultanate, semi-sultanate, like monarchy. Now, the Ekrem İmamoğlu now became more popular because people are tired and sick and tired of this Erdogan. They are scared also at the same time of him, because if you say a word on Twitter or in social media or in neighborhood against him, and the following day you will find police officers come and take you into questioning and threatening and stuff. Therefore, there is no really freedom of expression. People are scared. Now, but first time I see there is a wave of courage by the opposition party. They are protesting. And I know that through election, Erdogan will never go, because his idol is his power, his position, his throne, money. He worships money. He worships power. He's a megalomaniac, a narcissistic megalomaniac. And his idol, one of his idols, is Fatih Sultan Mehmet, the Turkish Ottoman dictator, who basically suffocated his young brother, 2 years old, his baby brother, for the fear that this brother will grow up some 20 years later, will take away his throne from him. Basically, he was a paranoid megalomaniac dictator, Fatih Sultan Mehmet, who conquered Istanbul. And he was basically kafir. He had nothing to do with Islam. He would invade other people's land and kill their men, many people, slaughter them, and take their women as slaves, as sex slaves, jariya, and take their young kids as new soldiers, would recruit them and train them as Yeniçeri. Therefore, he admires him. and he has no values and no principles. In fact, once, you can find it on the internet, he said, "For my cause." Well, his cause is only money and power. And for my cause, I can become everything, including I can become a Christian priest. Papaz in Turkish, papaz. Papaz really is not a good word in Turkish. When you say papaz, it is insult. From Sunni perspective, from Ottoman times, when they call someone papaz, a Christian priest, is really a pejorative word. Anyway, he says, I become papaz. Davam için gerekirse papaz olurum dedi. He said, I become papaz for my cause. He become anything, like St. Paul. He become anything, everything to reach his goal, which is power and money. And therefore, he's dangerous. But first-time opposition party is organizing people, protesting, and I think civil disobedience without using violence, the opposition could tire him up, and the businesses that support Erdogan may fear that it is time to leave him. The only way to really get rid of Erdogan is to create a crack within his own party against him. And if there is some more unrest going on, it might be possible, because I do believe they are also tired of him. Anyway, that's it. Let's see. Unfortunately, there is another factor, is United States. It appears United States and Israel are supporting Erdogan. Erdogan he trades things, he compromises many things. He doesn't have principles. And he's a Machiavellist. And therefore, he had done many 180 degrees turn. 180 degrees in many cases. Like his Syria policies first. He was very good friend with Assad, suddenly changed because there was Israeli, United States, Saudi Arabia, Qatari alliance wanted to inflame to civil war in Syria. It was Israeli project. Turkey participated in that project, sent psychopaths to Syria, and a lot of weapons, smuggled weapons in early days of the civil war to neighbors' houses burning. Turkey goes with gasoline, with gas, pour gas more to make fire, idiot. And then, of course, that didn't really end the way they were envisioning. The Turkish people, the ones who were neo-Ottomans, they said, well, we are becoming again big world leader. We are getting Syria as one of our province, and then we'll get Iraq, we'll get Libya, we'll get Egypt. They were dreaming imperial dream, horrible, satanic, evil dream. And of course, it creates nightmares. Anyway, but that ended up a disaster. Turkey ended up with 5 to 8 million refugees from Syria, created major economic hardships, social, cultural, political clashes, problems for Turkey. It's not easy, just suddenly population, some of them traumatized, entering Turkey, created major backlash problem. And anyway, but Turkey may get some Gazans, maybe 500,000 of them. Erdogan may do in order to continue American and Israeli support for his rule, for his government. To stay in power, he does trades with devil. And therefore, opposition though may have a lot of domestic support from people, but the role of CIA should not be underestimated, and role of Mossad, Israeli influence, should not be underestimated. Therefore, it appears that Erdogan may still continue, may kill thousands of people, still get away with this because he may deal with Trump and Netanyahu. That is my fear. There's possibility because he had done many similar things in the past. Anyway, I want to sit down here right now. This is the summary. I know it is very haphazard summary. What's going on in Turkey? I know there are many points need to be discussed. I wish there was someone who is very familiar with the Turkish politics, question me, organize questions, and through question and answers, we could brief you, inform you about what is going on in Turkey. The opposition party needs Kurdish people's help, but Kurdish people are in dilemma, as I said. There is a new, the AKP Erdogan is playing the game. He wanted first to give hope to Kurdish people that there will be recognition of their existence, culture, and language. And Kurdish people, okay, let's do second time. The first time Erdogan, unfortunately, cheated and deceived Kurdish people, gave them hope, but later betrayed them. He had done many times to his alliances. And Kurdish people, but are so in desperate situation in many places, in Syria, in Iraq, and in Turkey, and they don't have really power in terms of weapons, in terms of military, in terms of support. International support is not there, and therefore they, though with some suspicion, they said, okay, let's take our chance again, and to have relation with this Erdogan, who is very hostile to us Kurdish people in last about 10 years. Let's see, but at the same time right now, the opposition party is going against Erdogan, which is a chance for Kurdish people to get rid of Erdogan, to restart. But as I said, the opposition party is also paranoid against Kurdish people. They think that if Kurdish people speak their language, the country will be divided. They are so ignorant. If they just look at Switzerland or Belgium, they will see multiple languages are talked. There's no problem. The country is not divided. Okay, peace. Salam.